Alrighty, welcome to MTG Anonymous, where surprisingly I don't have Altar of the Brood in this deck. So today we're gonna go over a deck that I'm actually surprised that I'm even playing. This historic legal combo control deck is what they would call. Uh, its goal is to use cheap creatures, sacrifice effects, and life gain synergies to control the board. And we're really trying to either kill them with Aetherflux Reservoir or one of our mini sacrifice effects. So let's go over the deck, as you know, and then we'll be going over combo pieces, support pieces, and then strengths and weaknesses. So let's go. So this deck is, as I said, Citadel Storm, Mardu. It's got a lot of cards, so we're going to get straight into it. Greedy Freebooter is the first one. It's a human pirate for 1/1. When this creature dies, scry one and create a treasure token. So this is really important for the early game. And then Shambling Ghast is its cheap cousin, cheap imitation, even though it came out first. But this is for 1 black. For another black, you can get Shambling Ghast. When it dies, choose one. Most of the time, we're going to get the creature token. But you can also cause one target creature an opponent controls to get -1/-1 till end of turn. So these two are basically our early ramp since we're in white, black, and red. They don't ramp very well. So black can occasionally, but it just depends on how much money you're going to spend. And this deck is pretty cheap, if we're being honest. Yeah. Village Rites is next for 1 black as an additional cost to the spell sacrifice a creature. We're perfectly fine with doing that with any of our 1 or 2 drops as an additional cost. Oh, I read that part already. And then you draw 2. So this is going to keep us into cards in our hand. Eventually, once we get to Bolas' Citadel, we don't want cards in our hand, but Bolas' Citadel can stall. So we can use Village Rites in our hand as a cheap way to draw cards. And I have 4 copies of that. I just had one different copy, so I figured I'd just throw that in there. Claim the Firstborn for 1 red. Gain control of target creature with mana value 3 or less until end of turn. Untap that creature, gains haste until end of turn. So if we have red, which is for some reason super difficult, even though we have, 7 ways to make red in the deck, we can use this early in the game, along with Village Rites or any of our other sacrifice effects, to basically control it and make sure our opponent can't do things. Revitalize for 1 and a white, you gain 3 life, draw a card. So if you take out Revitalize and Ondu Inversion, technically this isn't a Mardu deck, but Revitalize, it's cheap, we gain life, and you can cast it off the top of your deck for 2 with Bolas' Citadel if you don't have something out to gain you more life, and it's net 1. So yeah. Blood Artist for 1 and a black. It's a 0/1 vampire. Whenever it or another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So obviously now you're starting to see why the Ondu Inversion's in here. But we'll get to that when we get to it. Deadly Dispute is Village Rites' better big cousin. For 1 and a black, as an additional cost, you can sacrifice either a creature or an artifact, draw 2 cards, and create a treasure token. So basically, if we had 2 of these in our hand, we could sacrifice a creature, and then we make the treasure token, and then we could sacrifice the other treasure token. I've done this a lot. There are different ways to make treasure tokens in this deck, mostly the Greedy Freebooter or the Shambling Ghast. So yeah, very good. Also, I had another art for this, so I figured I'd throw them in. Priest of Forgotten Gods for 1 and a black. It's a 1/2 human cleric. Tap, sacrifice 2 other creatures. Any number of target players each lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature of their choice. You add black, black, and draw a card. So you probably see where this deck is going still. We'll use this to sacrifice 2 Shambling Ghast or one of the greedy freebooters in Shambling Ghast or Blood Artist. Basically, whatever we have on the field, we're going to do this if we need to draw cards or if we need mana to cast things in our hand. Meat Hook Massacre. So I don't really use mythics very often, so if you don't want this, you can take it out and put 2 more Priests of Forgotten Gods. But for X Black Black, it's a legendary enchantment. When the Meat Hook Massacre enters, each creature gets XX until end of turn. For this deck, most of the time we cast it on 0 unless Blood Artist is in, then we'll kill everybody. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses a life. Bastion of Remembrance for 2 and a black. When this enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white human soldier token, and then whenever a creature we control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and we gain 1 life. So again, as we start doing Deadly Disputes, Village Rites, Priest of Forgotten God, Roll Strider, like insert sacrifice here, we're able to gain life and our opponent loses life. This helps us out when we get to the end game. And also, since we want our stuff to die on our own terms, we almost never block. So this helps us pretty much rebuild. Woe Strider for 2 and a black. It's a 3/2 horror. When this creature enters, create a 0/1 white goat creature token. Sacrifice another creature token. We can scry 1. So that's separate, just in case you can't see it. I know how YouTube can be with support for small creators. Escape for 3 black black. Exile 4 other creatures from your graveyard. This creature escapes with 2+1/+1 counters on it. So basically, we can use Priest of Forgotten Gods and Wolf Strider. All of our instants and sorceries that we can't get back, we can use. We can get rid of those to use the escape ability for Wolf Strider, and now we have a sacrifice engine again. So our opponent really has to figure out how to control our graveyards in order to stop us. And then speaking of graveyards, Luris of the Dream Den for 1 black black or 1 white white, just depends. It's hybrid mana. It's a 3/2 cat nightmare, ignore companion, it has lifelink, and once during each of your turns, you may cast a permanent spell with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard. So that means we can get back Greedy Freebooter, Shambling Gas, Blood Artist, or Priest of Forgotten Gods, and actually the Meat Hook Massacre is also in that. So yeah, our best cards we can grab back using Luris. But our actual best card is Mayhem Devil for 1 black red. It's a 3/3 devil. Whenever a player sacrifices a permanent, this creature deals 1 damage to any opponent. So you've probably seen Wolf Strider, Priest of Forgotten Gods, Deadly Dispute, Village Rites, all of these sacrifice things. So Mayhem Devil's going to see that. Also, it sees treasure tokens. So yeah, most people don't think of those when they think of treasures. Aetherflux Reservoir, there are 2 versions just because I like that. So again, this one's a mythic for some reason, while this one is not. So really, this one is the one that I count in the deck. But for 4, it's an artifact. Whenever you cast a spell, you gain 1 life for each spell you've cast this turn. Pay 50. This artifact deals 50 damage to any target. I've never had it. Actually, every single win with this deck has either come from Aetherflux Reservoir or Mayhem Devil. So yeah, this is definitely a card that is needed for this deck to function. The other card that's needed for this deck to function is Bolas the Citadel for 3 black, black, black. It's a legendary artifact. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may play land cards and cast spells from the top of your library. If you cast a spell this way, pay life equal to its mana cost rather than pay its mana cost. And then tap, sacrifice 10 non-land permanents. Each opponent loses 10 life. So this has 2 very important text that's on it. So we can use the tap ability and sacrifice 10 things. Our opponent loses 10. If Mayhem Devil is out, other than because it can't see itself being sacrificed, obviously, we could do 19 damage to an opponent or possibly 20, just depending on like what we have on the battlefield. We definitely have a way to have more than 10 non-land permanents if you think about the multiple ways that we can make treasures in this deck. And then finally, Ondu's Inversion for 6 white white, destroy all non-land permanents. I've never not gotten to 8 mana in a game. So yeah, this took me all the way to Mythic from Gold 2. And I streamed it on my Twitch channel. So shameless plug, follow my Twitch, it's the same name, MTG Anonymous. Yeah, you'll get to see me play these decks until this channel grows, and then I decide to add play games to the channel. So for lands, pretty much throw anything you can in here. I don't really have many lands, especially since, you know, I'm a free-to-play player, meaning I spend no money on this game. So the lands that I do have that are honorable mentions are Godless Shrine, put as many as you can in here. Blight Step Pathway or Seer Step Pathway, those don't matter as much because they're one or the other. Dragon Skull Summit, again, since you have Godless Shrine, as many as you can. Inspiring Vantage, not as important. Sacred Foundry, as many as you can. Savai Triome. If you have enough of Godless Shrine and Dragon Skull Summit, excuse me, you really don't need the Savai Triome. So, yeah, I only have one copy of each because, yeah, I have not been lucky with the draws, and also I haven't been opening that pack. So, that's the pack I'm going to start openings, just so I can get more of the dual lands, because pain lands are very, very good. Anyways, that is it. So we've read those. Let's go over the rest of the information. So my script says the big payoff, technically, is Aetherflux Reservoir, which allows us to long chain spells into 50 damage. Bolus's Citadel lets us cast the cards from the top of our library using life. We can use Revitalize, claim the Firstborn Deadly Dispute to basically do stuff, right? Deadly Dispute's going to let us draw. Revitalize is going to let us draw. Claim the Firstborn gives us stuff that we can sacrifice. The Meat Hut Massacre, Blood Artist, and Mayhem Devil all together make sure our opponent is losing life while we gain it. That's not true. I'm not sure why it says that. So Meat Hook Massacre, no. The only one that does that is Blood Artist. So yeah, I don't know why my script's all messed up. Anyway, that was for combo pieces. So Aetherflux Reservoir wants to be with Bolus's Citadel. The Meat Hook Massacre wants to be with Blood Artist. Mayhem Devil wants to be with anything that sees sacrificing. Support engines. This is a new section because, like, literally, this is all. This deck is mostly synergies, but Village Rites and Deadly Disputes lets us turn our creatures into cards. Greedy Freebooter, and Shambling Gas give us both bodies for those cards and treasures. Claim the Firstborn lets us steal our opponent's creatures, so it's hilarious. Steal, sack, drain is what I wrote. I don't know why, but it is what it is. Strengths. This is very flexible. Can play aggro, can be mid range or combo. Because it's all of them, yeah. Life gain and drain gives us inevitability, meaning we're going to stay alive for as long as we can. It's very hard for our opponent to kill us with damage. And then a solid draw engine, all with low cost spells. Unfortunately, well, not really unfortunately, right? There's 7 draw spells, not if you don't include Bolus's Citadel. So, or that's not even right. That's 10. 10 draw spells if you don't include Bolus's Citadel. And we can also scry using Greedy Freebooter and Woe Strider. So yeah. So pretty efficient deck. And then it needs several pieces for a combo is one of the weaknesses. Graveyard Hate will slow Luris and the recursion plan down, but we can get around that. And then can get overwhelmed if we don't have Drain available. So yeah, if you like combo control decks with value loops, life game, and maybe a flashy finish, you should give Citadel Burn a shot. Hit the like button, comment, subscribe for more historic brews, and tell me what's your go-to Storm deck in MTG. I really want to know. And then if I were to rebrew this deck, I would actually be hilarious and take out the Meat Hook Massacres, add my 2 Altar of the Broods, and mill our opponent out. But anyway, if you like this, as I said, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you. Peace.